pre-show before the free show.
That's right. It's the pre-show before the free show.
Is it?
And we are alive.
Are we?
Contrary to some prior reports, we are alive. It was touch and go there for a minute. I'm Greg, that's Ashley. This is the pre-show before the free show. Pickle, did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was the first weekend in a long time that there was at least one day that I didn't necessarily have to be somewhere to do something. I did a lot, but I didn't have to. Good I just chose to. It's nice to have a choice to do things.
Yeah. I did not have a choice to do things because I got sick. It was bad news. I think there's something going around. It wasn't the flu because I got over it in about 48 hours, but it's we'll call it like flu-ish. Mm-hmm. We'll call it the a flu variant. But I was down for the count for about 48 hours and had a bad time this weekend and missed some fun activities.
You missed massively fun activities because the day that I did have something to go to was the celebration of our very own Vianney Moreno, who is fixing to experience her quarter-life crisis.
Yeah, she was her 25th birthday, and I heard it was awesome.
The party was awesome.
And my wife is extremely mad at me for getting sick because we couldn't go as a result. She should have gone.
She really should have.
The boys.
Yeah, there was an open seat at our table.
The boys were also sick, but she would have had a sick time. She would have been sick too, having a sick time at Vianney Moreno's party.
It was sick.
But one of the things that it did give me an opportunity to do, which I haven't had an opportunity to do in a long time, was lay in bed and just watch whatever I wanted to, on my computer. And so here with another rendition of our semi-regular series. Here's some stuff that Tepper recommends. Okay? So I got two things for you. And I think this will really show you that inside of you there are two wolves. Mm-hmm. Because I've got two very different, and I think they'll tell you a lot about who I am. First of all, I'm going to be the 10,000th person to recommend to you to watch Severance.
Yep.
On Apple. If you have not watched it. Now, I'm not trying to be a hipster here. I started watching this March 2022, and I know it was March 2022 because I watched it on a plane. I watched it on, March 2023. March 2023, because I watched it on a plane, the first two episodes, and I was like, this is pretty good. And then I went home and I watched the rest, this is my favorite thing. It's excellent. It's worth all the bit of the hype. And you are now, if you have not started it on Apple TV, it's a little sci-fi, but it's excellent. It's really, really good. And actually, I went back. Season 2 is just coming out right now after a 3-year hiatus. And I went to rewatch it before the new season came out. And I asked my wife. My wife. Thank you. If she wants to come along for the ride and be like, hey, I'm going to rewatch it. Do you want to hop on? She goes, yeah, sure. And now she's locked in.
Which is good.
And I will tell you, I think right now is the perfect time to start. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The first season, I think, is 9 episodes. And we're 2 episodes into the second season, which means if you start, you will catch up mid-season of the second season. And then you're going to get the best of both worlds. Because you'll get to binge, and then you'll get the anticipation of waiting each week for an episode. I think right now is the perfect time to start. Severance is great. Watch Severance on Apple. Okay, here's the other thing, and this couldn't be more polar opposite.
Okay.
So there was a show in the 90s.
Yep.
So it's become there's a phenomenon on YouTube, and there's a genre on YouTube of people making fun of bad things, bad movies specifically. The pioneers of this was a show out of Minnesota that started on cable access and eventually made its way to Comedy Central called Mystery Science Theater 3000. I don't know if you're ever familiar with this.
I am not, no.
Okay, Mystery Science Theater 3000 is a show where essentially the whole story doesn't necessarily matter, but it's a guy trapped on a spaceship, forced to watch bad movies. He builds 2 robots, and he and the 2 robots watch the movie and just make fun of the movie and riff on it.
So it's a watch-along.
It's a watch-along, except it's comedians and they're
robots.
And they're hilarious, right? It's very, very funny. It's a classic show. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is one of the all-time greatest shows.
Had you watched it before?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'd watched this particular episode before because this is probably their magnum opus, was riffing on a movie, a bad 90s movie from Canada called The Final Sacrifice. Okay? It's a terrible movie. But I think the producer got in his feels and didn't like that they were making fun of his movie. And so, like, he, like, took them to court.
Oh, really?
And made them take this episode down. This episode was gone for, like, 2 decades. It did not exist. But I am here to tell you that on December 15th, apparently they came to some sort of agreement because it is back up on YouTube.
Huh.
The Final Sacrifice, Mystery Science Theater 3000, episode 9, season 9, episode 1, 910. The Final Sacrifice. It's an hour and a half of just people riffing on one of the worst movies of all time. Mm-hmm. And it is, I hadn't seen it in a long time. I was howling with laughter. It tells you a lot about my style of comedy and what I find funny, of like robots making fun of the movies. But anyway, go watch it. It's The Final Sacrifice on YouTube, and it's excellent. I wonder if there's beer on the sun. Anyway, that's it from me. Hit the theme expo. Football mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show that's out of bed. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, Facebook.
Yes, we are up.
Oh, good. YouTube, Twitter.
I thought Zuckerberg was out to get us again.
Classic Zuck. Or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She's Mrs. 305. She's Mrs. 915, Mrs. 956. She's Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. Happy Monday. I didn't know what day it was.
You don't mean that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not a bad Monday. It's a little chilly.
Can I?
But I've had worse Mondays.
Can I issue a take?
Yeah.
January's the worst month of the year.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Now you're...
No, that's part of the reason why we did it, because January stinks. And so it's like, okay, why not add something in
point.
to actually have something to look forward to? Like, that would be like cramming, like... Yeah. All due respect to those who get married in the months of like October to December. I understand that that's like a very normal time to do it. I've got so much to look forward to then. Like, I don't need anything else to look forward to. But you know which month sucked the most? January. So let's give us something to look forward to. Yeah, we were smart.
Yeah, my dumbass got married in July, which is already a good month.
Yeah, that's like one of the best months of the year.
And then it was like, what if we just like, you're just piling all the good things into like,
No, I'm trying to spread the happiness out, man.
That's pretty smart. Today is Monday, January 27th, 2024. 5. Well, oh my God. It's going
We're
great.
off to a great start.
304 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to, I don't know if anybody, well, actually tomorrow we can wish happy birthday to V&A Moreno.
Happy birthday, V.
She shares a birthday. I'm going to look this up.
Okay.
V&A Moreno shares a birthday.
It doesn't really matter who she shares a birthday with. Because she wins.
Well, I don't know. J. Cole?
Nah.
Okay.
The streets are shouting V&A Moreno.
Rick Ross?
Lemon Pepper.
And Elijah Wood. So there you go.
All I'm hearing is V&A from the streets.
It's episode 1830. On today's show, folks, we've got headlines from across the state, including a number of coaching changes around Texas and a high-profile transfer that will make you feel old. Then, back-to-back shows. It's This Week in Crootin with Greg Powers, our director of recruiting. We had to have him last week, and then we had to have him today. So, we'll have Bowers back on because he was at the Next Level Athlete Camp this weekend and want to get his takes on what he saw. And then, back half of the show, we're going to put a fine little pretty bow on the 2024 Texas high school football season. The 2024 Texas high school football state championship games are cinematic recap of what occurred at AT&T Stadium in Arlington back in December. Excited to share with you this project that's been in the works for quite some time. We'll round it all out with mailbag final thoughts. Get those questions in on Facebook and YouTube. Okie dokie. Sound good? Everybody pot right? Good. Do we first word through the door?
We sure do.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting all the graphics up. TJ Hudson, jersey number 69, Ed McElroy, and Lau Good. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us, and let us get to some headlines from across the state of Texas. This is going to encompass a little bit of, I think since the last time we did some headlines, but some things that are worth mentioning. One of them is we're going to talk about the Denton Broncos. Okay, the Denton Broncos have made a hire. They've been looking for a head coach, and they have gone to a familiar name, a name that you may know, and that is they have hired the former head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks. That's right. A former Big 12 head coach is going to be coaching the Denton Broncos. I'm talking about David Beatty. David Beatty, of course, cut his teeth in the Texas high school football world. He was a coach at North Dallas and Irving MacArthur before he went into the college ranks. He was an assistant at, he was a head coach at Kansas, but then before that he was at Texas. He's at A&M, Rice, Florida Atlantic, where he was most recently. He's coming back to Texas to take over at Denton High. So that's something.
Yeah.
We'll have a former Big 12 head coach coming to take over at Denton High to take over the Broncos. So excited to see what he does there. Excited to get him on the phone at some point. But yes, David Beatty will be the next head coach of the Denton Broncos. Staying in the DFW Metroplex, Mesquite ISD has made a couple of hires, both of which I really, really like. One of them, let me make sure I pull this up because I am good at my job. Okay. Mesquite ISD has made a couple of hires. The first of which is that at Mesquite High, they have gone down to Houston and hired Houston Yates head coach Raphael Thomas. Now, I think, we talked about this on Tep and Step last week. I think this is a home run hire for Mesquite High. Really love this hire. From what Matt Stepp tells me, he was actually in on and close to getting the West Mesquite job, which they ended up giving to Steven Jackson at Seagoville, and all he did was turn around West Mesquite in a hot minute. Mm-hmm. Mesquite is in need of a kick in the rear end. And Raphael Thomas, what he did at Houston Yates, I think is really, really impressive. This, to me, feels like very similar to the Steven Jackson hire. Mm-hmm. That what he did at Seagoville was really impressive, and it translated immediately at West Mesquite. What Raphael Thomas has done at Houston Yates, I think, is really impressive. And it may not be that big name value that people know, but I think you're going to get to know the name of Raphael Thomas in a hot minute because this guy is a winner, most certainly. The other one, he's also, by the way, played at Oklahoma State, and he was he played at Lufkin. Actually got drafted by the Dodgers, if you're interested in baseball. And then there is Mesquite Poteet. Mesquite Poteet has hired somebody. Mesquite Poteet went and hired Hebron offensive coordinator Terrence Orr to be their next head coach. Terrence Orr is a name you may remember. He was a star at DeSoto for a while. His father, Terry Orr, used to play for Washington, and he was a two-time Super Bowl champion. His three brothers, Nick Orr played at TCU, Chris Orr played at Wisconsin, Zach Orr played at North Texas, and then played 3 seasons in the NFL. In fact, he was the second team All-Pro in 2016. So, yes, There are the Orr family has deep roots in Texas, and Terrence Orr has established himself as one of the brightest offensive minds in Texas high school football. I think what Cody Groves is doing, that's 3 hires in 2 years now, with Stephen Jackson rather, there at West Mesquite. Then you add in Terrence Orr, hiring him at Mesquite Poteet, and Raphael Thomas there at taking over Mesquite High. Feeling like 3 for 3. It feels pretty darn good. Three pretty heady hires there at Mesquite ISD. A notable retirement. Russell Lucas has retired at Sweetwater. Russell Lucas probably most notable for what he did before he got to Sweetwater, where he took Hamlin to a state championship game a couple of years back, and an all-time good dude. We certainly wish him a 35-year coaching career. He led Hamlin to a title game in 2019. He had stopped at Rotan, at Hamlin, and then at Sweetwater. He was, of course, most notably, he led them to the title game in 2019, where they fell in a really tight one to Mart in that 2019 title game. Wish him all the best. He finishes with a 161-85 career. Great dude there. Russell Lucas announced his retirement there at Sweetwater. Grapevine has made a hire, and they've dipped into the college ranks to do it. They have hired Ryan Smith, who is the offensive coordinator, or I should say was the offensive coordinator at East Texas Baptist University. This is a pretty big hire here. He had done good things there at ETBU and now goes and gets a head coaching job there at Grapevine, which is in need of a jolt. This is a Grapevine team that actually went 0-10 last year. They need kind of mired in a bit of rebuilding. They're in a tough district there, District 358 Division 2. But he was offensive coordinator at Midlothian Heritage in 2022, so he's no stranger to the high school ranks. He went 1 year one year at offensive coordinator at ETBU. Now back into the high school ranks as the head coach at Grapevine is Ryan Smith. McAllen Rowe, down to the Rio Grande Valley. They have hired a name that Texas A&M fans may be familiar with. Texas A&M, they have hired a Weslaco East offensive coordinator and former Texas A&M wide receiver Jamar Taylor to be their next head coach. Taylor he's a 3-year starter for the Aggies, where he finished his playing career in 2003, was 6th-round pick for the Giants. Then after a very brief NFL career, he kind of returned to the Rio Grande Valley, bounced around a few different places. He was the offensive coordinator for Edinburgh Vela, kind of when they were on their rise from 2018 to 2023. And then he spent 2024 as Weslaco East before now he's getting the head job at McAllen Rowe. Excited to see what Jamar Taylor does there at McAllen Rowe. Ennis has named their new head coach. Of course, we talked a lot about Sam Harrell retiring after a long and legendary career. They have stayed in-house for their hire. They have essentially just promoted Don Drake. Promoted's a weird word. He's their athletic director. But Don Drake is going to be the next head coach of there. He's got plenty of coaching experience himself. He actually started the McKinney-Boyd program in 2006. Went 64-67 for over 12 seasons and really got them up. If you remember, old timers like me may remember. In 2006, they started off like 0-10. And then the next year, they went 9-4, one of the great stories in Texas high school football. He is no stranger to success and no stranger to Texas high school football. Don Drake will be taking over for Sam Harrell there at Ennis as the next head coach. Elsewhere, here is something you don't see every day. So, Andy Smith is the former head coach of the Alpine Bucks, okay? He was the head coach there at Alpine last year, and went 2 seasons, went in 10-13 there for Alpine. Now, you're familiar with Alpine, right? You know where that is. Way out there in the Big Bend region, okay? So I would like to ask you, what would be a natural landing spot for a guy leaving Alpine? Maybe a place like El Paso, right? Or maybe a place, Midland would be great.
How about the beach?
How about Corpus Christi?
This guy was fiending for some sand and sun.
Corpus Christi, London head coach Andy Smith. He is leaving Alpine to go all the way there. Now, he does have some history in that part of the world. He had 2 stints at Gregory Portland where he was offensive coordinator there. He's also spent 4 seasons at Corpus Christi King.
There's got to be some family ties there.
Alpine was a bit of an outlier for him.
But now it looks weird.
But it is a little odd when you take a look at the trajectory here. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to spend a lot of time here, and then zoop, and then we're right back there. It's like, what What are you thinking out there? Anyway, Alpine is open, by the way, looking for a next head coach, so call me. And finally, I promised you a story that might make you feel old. And that is that there is a notable transfer across the state of Texas, and that is that Louisville High School is getting an enrollment from a young man who starred at Frisco Heritage this past year. He announced on social media that he's going to be a senior this year, a running back who ran for 1,700 yards or 1,700 receiving yards and 20 touchdown catches over the past 2 seasons. He's a wide receiver there. His name is Tatum Bell Jr. And there is a certain segment of the populace who is my age or older who is saying, there's no way. Because Tatum Bell, you may remember as former Oklahoma State standout and former NFL standout, Tatum Bell, who was so good for the Denver Broncos for so long. Yes, his son, who will be a senior this year, is a star wide receiver and will be transferring to Louisville High School. It is Tatum Bell Jr. Is going to be coming to a high school football team game near you. If that doesn't make you feel old, you're just too young. But that popped across. But Greg Powers filed that report on TexasFootball.com last week, and I was down bad. I was having a tough time with that. A couple of these names that are popping up. It's like Reggie McNeil Jr. Like Reggie McNeil Jr. is like a star, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. We can't be doing this, guys. Because what does that mean about me? Like Des Bryant's kid. Des Bryant's kid is like a star, by the way.
That one hits me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. The Bell one doesn't necessarily do it for me.
It's coming for you. Time waits for no man. Anyway, there's some headlines from across the state of Texas. We are at Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hope you'll consider going to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. My head's in the way. Watch this. Get the 2024 Summer Rising Edition of Dave Campbell's
you're bad
Texas
at pointing.
Football. I really am. I can never be a weatherman. That magazine that's behind my big head, get that mailed to you right now. Plus, you get all sorts of outstanding exclusive content on TexasFootball.com, including our coaching change pages, our coaching changes page, and a year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform.
The coaching changes page is enough for a subscription right now with how much action is going on there.
There's like more than 100 coaching changes.
It's insane. It's January 27th.
You're going to bookmark that. Anyway, TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Makes a great gift as well. Celebrate the end of January by getting your sweetheart. Or do early
Valentine's Day, dummy.
Yeah. We went to... me and the boys went to the grocery store yesterday, and we got Mom some flowers for taking care of us because we all by the way, we all kind of got the fever this weekend. And so she took care of them, so we got Mom flowers to say thanks for taking care of us, right? Boy, Valentine's Day. It's all over the grocery stores right now.
The massive, like, obnoxiously huge teddy bears are just engulfed in the end cap aisles.
Who wants that?
It takes up space.
Coming up here in just a moment, we'll ask Greg Powers if he wants a giant teddy bear. Plus, this week in recruiting. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10.
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wings drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Texas coaches, Coach Brackle here from First Down Playbook. After 25 years as a Texas high school football coach, I understand the time, energy, and commitment it takes to compete at your level. First Down Playbook was created by coaches for coaches to help you vertically line your total program. 1 week free team membership for all Texas high school and college coaches. Let First Down Playbook help give you that winning edge.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley, and sometimes it feels like there's not enough Gregs in the office, but especially here in the studio. But thankfully, we've called in the reinforcements. We're joined by Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Hey, bud.
What's up? What's up?
2 shows in a row for you, but it's because you're in high demand.
I have to do 2 shows today?
No, I'm saying that you were on the last episode of Texas Football Today as well.
I was on the last episode
Thursday,
of Texas Football
Yeah, you're
Today.
doubling up. Normally, we like to space you out, but like we want to give the people what they want.
It is Crootin season.
It is Crootin. Isn't that?
Yeah, it's like full swing Crootin season.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. Why are we waiting? I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week
in Crootin.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, you know, the big game that we're not allowed to call it by its formal name is coming. And I would say that if you're having a party for the big game, you know it would go great with that. Chicken Express.
And I have a debate to win.
Oh,
here.
yeah?
Yeah, and you guys may or may not remember this.
Okay.
There is a Chicken Express in Huntsville.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I went to it again.
Yeah?
We had like a debate on here about whether there was a Chicken Express in Huntsville or whether there's not a chicken. It's on the northern edge of Huntsville.
It's right over that little overpass. It's barely an overpass.
Excellent. Good job, Chicken Express out in Huntsville. You guys hooked me up. Appreciate it. And
I'm running up 45 right now. I'm trying to...
Yeah, because one of the last times that I went down to Houston, which I frequent down there a lot, I was like, gosh darn it, he's right. There is a Chicken Express here. Which I don't know why we ever questioned you in the first place about that.
I've learned not to doubt Greg Powers on a couple of things. One is
Just
like
in general.
player evaluations, and 2 is in like chicken matters.
It's fried chicken.
I'll tell you this. The Huntsville Chicken Express, excellent job with the gravy. It was the right consistency for the dunk. Enough, it adhered enough gravy onto the roll and the tender.
Yeah.
Perfect amount. Well done, guys. Well done.
It says we're going to recruiting with chicken expert and recruiting
For the
analyst Greg
dunk.
I
Powers.
love fried chicken.
Clip that. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. The reason you're here is because you were at the Next Level Athlete Texas Top 100 camp this weekend at Richardson Berkner.
And they also had a stop in Barbers Hill.
So there were a couple of them. They were popping off recently, and you got to lay your eyes on a number of these guys. Our prospect on the rise, we're going to start with a guy that I know impresses at the state championship game, and then impressed in the camp setting, and that is Columbus 2027 wide receiver Braylon Fisher, who picked up an offer this week from TCU just hours after landing wide receiver honors at the Next Level Athlete Texas Top 100 Showcase in Houston. This was a guy that a youngster on that high-powered Columbus attack, but he had one of those touchdown grabs and a couple of those grabs in that game that you were like, oh, you're a serious player, and he showed out again in the Texas Top 100 Showcase.
I was really excited to see him in person too, because what you saw on tape or what we saw in person at the state championship games clearly popped in the camp setting. He was electric. He not only ran crisp routes, but he has the type of body that I feel like that college coaches are going to fall in love with quickly. And it wasn't a huge shock that he picked up an offer from TCU, less than 24 hours after picking up the wide receiver MVP, because he was right there on the precipice of starting to pick up some of these big offers. In my opinion, that's going to be the first of many. He's a very talented kid and the future of that Columbus offense. I'll be interested how Coach Schobel integrates him into the offense now, because they're going to have a lot of change, right? Adam Schobel's now gone. Grayson Rigdon's now gone. Will Braylon be a guy that they utilize more out of the backfield? He's 5'11", 180, and he moves like a running back, and he's very like he has a physical presence. But he's so electric as a receiver. So good.
That's what's so crazy is that, like, you're right. Like, normally you're like, oh, get him the ball more, put him in the backfield. That's a good idea. But, like, you're exactly right. He's so dynamic as a receiver that it's hard to be like, well, let's take him out of that place where we know he can be so dangerous. It's exciting times there in Columbus as the defending state champs now have a TCU.
Another TCU.
There you go.
Because Adam Schobel at TCU and John Schobel at TCU last year. I still wait to see what Grayson Rigdon's going to do. He picked up some offers, but Braylon Fisher, congrats on his first offer, and I think it's cool that it's an in-state P4 school.
Absolutely, most certainly. Let's roll on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week, we're going to the DFW Metroplex to talk about Southlake Carroll 2026 quarterback Angelo Renda. The 6-foot, 180-pound, 4-star committed this week to Pitt. The Panthers pick up the services of the Southlake Carroll quarterback. This is a guy that I know coming into the season, we had questions about Southlake Carroll at the quarterback spot. When either going to be great running back, either going to have a couple playmakers on defense and at wide receiver. But quarterback was a question. Angelo Renda stepped up in a huge way, and now he's a Pitt commit.
Yeah, I would say coming into this year, after they lost Knowles, went to Georgia Tech, and up front on the offensive line. Those were the two question marks for me at Southlake Carroll. And with Renda, Tristan Dare, Luke Wilson, the future is so bright for the Dragons, even heading into next year. I think that they're going to be one of the most talent-laden teams in the state, and a big reason is Renda. His statistics were amazing. Over 5,500 yards, 54 touchdowns, and the surprise to me was his ability and his athleticism as a runner. I think he racked up close to 700 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns rushing. So he presents a true dual threat dynamic that really Southlake hasn't had since Quinn Ewers' junior season before he left early to go to Ohio State. He had a level of athleticism there, but I think Renda's even more athletic than him as he goes into college. Quinn was a little bit bigger, maybe stronger as a runner, but Renda's extremely mobile.
Yeah, he's elusive. He's elusive in the open field, and a guy who is, I think we saw him in that state championship game, and the Vandegrift defense was obviously dialed up to stop him, but he still came up with some big boy throws there.
For sure.
And he's a guy that I think you're right, heading into the 2025 Texas high school football season, is going to be one of those guys on that short list of quarterbacks we're talking about. Is one of the best in the state. He has been absolutely terrific and a real breakout star. For an offense that, of course, is quarterback friendly, but also demands a lot of their quarterbacks.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not. I think there are some people who might be like, oh, well, of course, Southlake is playing in that system. Yeah, but the quarterback is required to do so much. And Riley Dodge will tell you he asks his quarterbacks to do a lot, and he stepped up in a huge way.
Well, I mean, Riley Dodge is a former quarterback,
Absolutely.
so he should expect a lot from his quarterbacks. But I think to put another feather in Renda's cap here, they lost Riley Wormley and Davis Penn to injury this year. And the offense really, you miss those guys as a rushing presence, but the offense didn't. They fired on all cylinders despite that fact, and Renda is a big reason why, or the reason why they did that. So congrats to him on his commitment to a P4 school up at Pitt, and we'll be excited to watch him ball out in college.
Most certainly, it's Angelo Renda, our commit of the week. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. Let's round it all out with our Recruit of the Week. Our Recruit of the Week, underclassmen of the week, I should say, is Gilmer 2027 offensive lineman Ismail Kamara.
That is a big dude. Underclassman?
2027, which means that he will be playing his junior season next year. He is, right now, as we are speaking, a sophomore in high school.
Goodness.
Clocking in at a cool 6'6", 360 pounds is Ismail Kamara. and he earned offensive line MVP honors at the Next Level Athlete Tech's Top 100 Showcase here in Dallas. He's got a number of offers. You saw him in person, Greg Powers. We give the floor to Greg Powers.
He's an absolute monster, and he didn't play for Gilmer last year due to transfer rules. This is a guy who's a France native.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting to see how So he's got a very interesting story, Texas high school football story, one that we'll keep you tuned in on here at Dave Campbell's. But the future is extremely bright for him. You can see that colleges are going to be flocking to him. He's already got offers from Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, UTSA, and more. I always got to list UTSA when it's a Gilmer prospect.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, because you have that Jeff Traylor connection there, and I think that they're always going to be a factor with any of these guys. But this is a national level recruit, a guy who you may not know about that much right now, but because he's so big and intimidating, he's not only going to be a national level recruit, he's going to be a recruit that people like to talk about. Yeah. And this is your first kind of real big glimpse at him right now, and he had his coming out at the Next Level Athlete Camp. A lot of players do because of the timing of the camp, but look, he's going to be fun to cover. I can't wait to watch him play next year. I get excited about these offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. They're smashing roaches, as they like to say, or racking up pancake blocks. This dude is a pancake machine. He got 2 yesterday. Media's not supposed to film at the camp and release it because Next Level sells the film to the colleges from the camp and stuff. But I did sneak a couple of clips for myself.
Just telling on himself over
here.
I
did sneak a couple of clips for myself because I had to have them of this dude just so I could remember the first time I seen him and go back maybe later and say, hey, look, man, remember this clip from the camp? And I'll show it to you all after the thing. But he was mashing people, absolutely destroying people.
Ismail Kamara, a name to know there at the Gilmer Buckeyes, their 2027 offensive lineman. And, going to be a big name there for the Gilmer Buckeyes. A big name here. Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Powers, thanks, but if you just want to hang, you can.
Okay, I'll hang, and I also want to give a shout out to Mallory Hartley, who joined me at the DFW showcase yesterday. Check out her interview with Caden Cobbs, TexasFootball.com/recruiting.
Okay, go check that out.
Nice.
TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Mallory Hartley on the recruiting
She's
trail.
like Lil Crootin.
She's Lil Crootin.
Lil Crootin.
Call her Lil Croot.
Lil Croot.
Heart and hustle.
Lil Croot. We're Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. One last thing to do here today. We're going to say farewell to the 2024 Texas high school football season and do it in style. While we were at the 2024 Texas High School Football State Championship games at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, we enjoyed the services of our friend Carter Rodman and his crew, who brought their filmography and their cameras out to capture the 2024 Texas High School Football State Championship games like nobody else. And here's what they found as we bid farewell to the 2024 Texas High School Football season.
More than 1,500 high school football teams in Texas start the year with dreams of getting to AT&T Stadium and a chance to play for a high school football state championship.
AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington, Texas. This is a magic place.
This atmosphere in here, the game is going to go up and down. How well are you going to handle the adversity? It's a game of emotions. Make sure we keep those emotions on our side.
Mission complete. You got a team on the other side that wants what you got. The final brick. What you built it brick by brick. Brick by brick. You laid every brick. Only thing left to do is to dominate. You understand? It's time to go dominate.
They get this one chance. They get today. Teodecki dropping back, looking. He's going to try to answer. He's got a receiver to the right side.
Deep shot for Farley. He's got it down the sideline. And George Farley is gone. 84 yards for the touchdown.
Cesar Olvera, a junior, will kick it off for South Oak Cliff. And this is Sincere Timpson taking it back. Sincere Timpson. Say goodnight to it on the opening kickoff. 81 yards. And Randall strikes first.
I'm known for that. I'm known for that. Flea flicker on the first play. Jimerson to Gibson to the sideline. Now cutting it back. A dream start for North Crowley. 75 yards and a touchdown.
On the ball game, 68 yards on the ground, 265 yards passing.
Looking for Fisher. He held on to it. Cardinal touchdown. Rigdon hurdling for the touchdown. Third touchdown of this first half.
Gets it on the toss. Nice cut and the spin. And KJ Edwards to the next level. Edwards leaving everyone behind. Pedal to the floor. 86-yard touchdown. So 3rd and 18. Jimerson all alone in the gun. The screen for Gibson. Through the tunnel. Quentin Gibson has a first down. Gibson to the pylon. It's another touchdown. Quentin Gibson is pure electricity.
Rodriguez for the championship. Wide left. No good. To overtime we go.
Stanford is 4 for 4 on 4th downs.
The reverse. Looking to throw it. End zone, it's intercepted. Ganado wins the state championship. Rice Allman picks it off to end it.
At the 24-second line, looking left, lets it go. Looking for Brody Bay. Touchdown Rangers! Rangers win! Rangers win!
One of the best coaches can ever do in Texas high school football. And his ring, a state championship, and he embraces with another man who is one of the best to do it.
A lot of these kids from Smithson Valley, their fathers played for Larry Hill.
Surratt to Henderson one more time. Another dime from Surratt. And that does it. A perfect 10 for Carthage and Scott Surratt. Nobody's won more state football championships than that man. 9 times before, and this one is extra sweet. With his son at quarterback. Jimerson to Q, and Gibson has it this time. The hat trick for Quentin Gibson. The 4th touchdown pass by Jimerson. The celebration is on for North Crowley.
You see the time ticking down. A 45-yarder for the tie, and the kick is no good. Time has run out. There's a brand new state champion of 5A Division II football in Texas. It's the Randall Lions.
I got a little bit more, but it's okay. You'll have to go to YouTube to find that. It's on our YouTube page from Carter Rodman and his team. Put that together for Dave Campbell's Texas football. Very cool. You can find that on our YouTube page. Excited to put that up there and let people see it. So there you go.
Gave me the chills, man.
There you go.
Like I'm speechless.
Yeah, that's sick.
We can go back to just let's go. Actually, yeah, like we're in the weird part. We'll go to final. This will be final thoughts. We're in the weird part of the year where it's like I think enough time has passed where it's like I could go for some football right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like I did need a break. I needed a break.
There's not much that takes my speech away, my breath. But whenever the video ended, I was kind of tearing up a little bit, just thinking about this. Like we're in it, we're watching it, we're there, we're working and stuff. You don't really get to truly appreciate it, like what we just experienced watching that video. So getting to see it from that perspective totally makes me feel kind of a blur. Some type of way about all the games. I don't know how to explain
Well, and especially because like I feel like the viewers can watch it at home, but something that we get that we're so lucky to get that normal viewers don't is the fact that like we don't have any rooting interest per se. Like we're there non-biased. The raw emotion that you get to feel when you're standing on that sideline is insane.
Yeah.
And I feel like that video captured just how lucky we are to get to feel that with the teams, because you look on one side and everyone's happy crying, and you look on the other side and people are sad crying, and it's like it is such a range of emotions, and then we've got to snap on and be like, okay, we're on air and we have to just talk about the game, but it's so cool to get to sit there and actually feel that emotion. I feel like
it is. It's weird. Like you go to these things, you go to this event, and you kind of forget that ultimately what that thing is a series of moments. You know, and that seems that seems like a real, like, quite frankly, real, like, stoner thing to say. It's like, man, life's just a series of moments, man. But, like, it's kind of true, though, is that, like, we think of it as, like, oh, it's 12 games over 4 days. It's, like, a lot of work for us. But, like, it's important, and I always try to keep at the front of my mind whenever we're doing what we're doing, is, like, these are, like we're in... I'll steal this from Matt Wilson, our friend at Arlington. We go to dinner with him on Tuesday before state championships and chat with him. And he's a big believer. He'll just tell you, he's like, we're in the memory-making business. You know what I mean? And, like, that is people making memories. Like, those players are going to remember, those players and those fans and those coaches and those people involved with those communities are going to remember forever. You know? And it's like I think because of the nature of our job, we don't get to sit back and really soak in those moments.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, and that's why I thought it was cool to watch the video, and that's kind of why it took my breath away.
There you go. It's on our YouTube page. You can find that. YouTube.com/Dave Campbell's TF. Anything else, Pickle? You done? You done?
Done.
That it? All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. For Ashley Pickle and Greg Powers, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. It's right there. It's behind me.
You're really bad at that.
I'll be a weatherman one day. We need a green screen. We'll see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.